So in topic 10, we also have to prioritize our costs. So we can do that several ways, and companies do it differently for how they operate. So we have some strategic positioning examples here. So we have a low cost leader, Walmart, right? So they advertise lower prices. So they try to do everything they can to reduce prices. And that way they can leverage their volume purchasing to reduce costs also, which if they can get more people to buy at these lower prices, that means they'll earn a larger profit overall because all those little pieces add up. However, on the other side of that, we have the differentiator. So like BMW, right? So they buy the top of the line stuff to put in their cars. Now, yes, BMW is not exactly a Rolls Royce, but a BMW is a very nice car. So they also have that commitment to quality and technical know-how. So if you have a problem with a BMW and take it to a BMW dealer, there should be no excuses why they can't fix it. So BMW tries to make themselves stand out based on that. So how do they do that? So we have the Porter's value chain concept here. So here we have, the firm, human resources, technology, purchasing and supply. And then on the bottom we have inbound logistics, outbound operations, sales and marketing, service. All these things have a focus on the customer. You have to be strategically positioned to serve your customer, right? The focus is there. So when you put all these things together, you can make your company stand out for your customer. And your customer will appreciate that and patronize your business. They'll actually go and shop for your business, or they'll go and look for your services if you provide services. So here we have on the bottom our primary value added activities. These are what actually the customer sees and appreciates that things are being done. So the sales and marketing, people are talking. The service, if you got a BMW car, you want to have the service where it's seamless, right? No problems. Sales and marketing, they market it as a step up above the normal, right? So you get that experience when you go in and look at a BMW. And then they have the logistics part of it. So that adds value to the car because they're seeking out the higher quality materials and the best technology out there. But we also have these support activities, purchasing and supply management, technology development, human resources, and our firm's infrastructure. So all these you can think of them as how do we make all those value-added activities function? How do we get all that done? Well, you have all these different departments that don't necessarily add value to the customer, but you need these departments in order to add to the value, those activities that add value. All right. And then, of course, you got to add a little bit of profit margin onto it too, don't you? Because you have to be able to support all these things. If you sell it for cost, well, you can't expand because you don't have any money to expand. So adding a profit margin, people understand that, yes, you make it for $1, but you charge $1.25 because you need to make a little bit of money on top of it, right? So your suppliers are doing this, your firm should be doing this, and your customers are doing this too on their own. So if you're a manufacturer, your customers might be that retailer, such as Walmart, Target. Your suppliers might be a Johnson & Johnson, and then you could be a distribution center that sells on these products onto somebody else, a wholesaler. So this value system just doesn't stop with your firm. It's a never-ending cycle, all the way down to that final end user. All right? So trying to figure out what it should cost, right? If it's a product or a service, things cost certain dollar amounts. So if we look at semiconductors, so we have others, materials, labor, and overhead on the left-hand side. Well, here, overhead is approximately 50%. Well, if you're making semiconductors, you need to buy the equipment, you need to maintain the equipment, you need electricity, all this kind of stuff. So the cost drivers here mainly are the yield, how many are you making, the scale, are you making millions, and are they going to be all perfect, or you need bigger yields because some are going to be defective. The feature size. In semiconductors, there's all different types of semiconductors. So what are you making? Some might be cheaper to make than others. And then the technology. If it's going into medical equipment, you probably want to have high quality semiconductors. But if it's going into a kid's toy, it probably doesn't need to be that high of a quality, right? It just needs to work. But on the other side here, we have overhead wiring harnesses. Well, here, the cost drivers are the wire size, the connectors, number of cut leads, and number of breakouts. So you can look here, the materials cost is much greater than semiconductors, and the labor is much greater. If you're making wiring harnesses, you might have to have some knowledge in the electrical side. If they're making them on site for these wire harnesses, that might cost more because now you probably need to have actually certified electricians. But if you're making them in a factory, you still need the people because this is labor intensive. Things are customized for their actual purpose. So both of these have an aspect of quality, right? So semiconductors need to work. If they're in medical equipment, need to work every single time without exception. A kid's toy, it can work for the first 3 months and the kid will be bored with it. And if it breaks after that, no one's really going to notice, right? The wiring harnesses, well, you don't want an electrical fire and you want to make sure they're good. Now, that can be different sizes or different purposes. If it's in a car, you want it to be reliable. If it's, again, in a kid's toy, it might need to last a year, 2 years, depending on what it is. But when it comes to quality as a cost driver, there is a point where it's not feasible to keep spending money on quality. And that's what we call the optimum quality level. As you can see, we have a cost by quality level chart here. Well, we're never going to hit perfect quality, so don't even think you're going to hit perfect quality. But you see the failure cost, the cost of failure is decreasing over time because your quality level is increasing. Going from on the axis, it's increasing. And then your prevention cost. How much money are you going to have to spend to prevent that failure? Well, where the lines intersect is your optimum quality level. It does not make sense to spend more money in prevention when the failure cost is actually cheaper than the cost of prevention. Now, where these lines intersect depends on the industry. Healthcare equipment, that line is probably near perfect quality. But if it's something as simple as a Hot Wheels car, the quality level is probably a lot lower. So looking at these things, you can determine for yourself at what point is, like for example, doing your homework. At what point are you getting diminishing returns from every extra amount of extra time you're putting into your homework? Hopefully that level is an A, but if you stop early, you might be in danger of that failure cost of getting a B, C, D, or even an F. So you got to find that perfect balance for you in your production of your homework. So Accenture has their cost value driver model. So this is how they can try to get some tactical wins or some long-term wins. So we have impact and sustainable value creation on one axis, and then we have time on the other axis. So number one there, tactical actions. You can do something simple, something quick, and get fast results. These are not your strategic items. These are the everyday things that, hey, maybe instead of doing the process this way, we make a tweak. Hey, we have a quick win. These are the fast wins. Usually have a good impact. Sustained cost reduction. So we need to start changing some things here, some long-term things, some bigger things, because we have to get the people's mindsets to change. If we're always going to do it the same way because that's how we've always been doing it, you're not going to get the cost savings. But if you get everybody on board and maybe have some type of monetary appreciation program for those who come up with good ideas on how to reduce costs, maybe you say they get 2% of their cost reduction, whatever your company may come up with to incentivize people. If you can get everybody on board looking at how to reduce costs, this is a mindset change and it will help your organization. And then we have to go as far as our strategic actions. So these are going to take a lot longer. They usually are from these are generally set by the executive leadership, and then everything else that follows after that is modified to support that strategic goal, which then supports the mission of the organization, right? So this is really going to take long. This is, we're looking at years to get our strategic actions modified. So these are just some mindsets that we have to look at when we're doing it. Cost of quality. There is a diminishing return. How fast can we make an impact? How long does it take to change a mindset? All these things take time. So we're going to dive in some tools next, and one of them is actually going to be really interesting for you guys because I think most of you already do this. It's just actually thinking about it in the purchasing mindset.